Thank you, Carl Patterson. Meanwhile, back in Sydney at the Marconi Stadium, the rain is still threatening a bit. It has been sprinkling earlier, but I must say that the Marconi Stadium pitch is in perfect condition, as it normally is at this time of the year. And of course, the teams on view here are Marconi and Heidelberg. Let's check the lineups for Marconi, who make two changes from the team which brought them their first loss of the season last week against Sunshine George Cross. Ian Gray, unfortunately for them, is out with an injury. He suffered a muscle strain during the week. And Vince Colagiuri has been dropped. And in their places comes Jerry Gomez, who came on only as a sub for the first time last weekend. And Tommy McCulloch, who was injured for the game against Sunshine George Cross, returns as well. The Heidelberg lineup is unchanged from the team that brought them their first victory on Monday night. And that means that it's a very young side indeed. Most of those names will be unfamiliar to you. Claude Lucchesi, who's now playing sweeper, is the only player who is over 25 in this very youthful side indeed. John Burgess at number 7 is a new signing, and he has suffered a cut high during the week in training, but takes his place in the team tonight. Okay, Johnny Warren is with me. Johnny, there we are, a very young side against a very experienced side, the champions, but the champions can be toppled, as we saw last weekend. Can it happen here today?
Well, anything's possible. As you say, last weekend, Marconi, to me, weren't hungry enough last weekend. They lost that little bit of eagerness to defend their title, but that's taking nothing away from Sunshine. But they were well beaten last weekend. One wonders now whether Gomez coming back in is such a key player, particularly in the air, and threatens the opponent's goals. But I think Marconi's real problem, and it's oversimplifying it, but is the fact that losing Farina and Henderson is going to take a little while to adjust. Heidelberg, I would think, a very young side. It's going to take them time to settle in this year. Their aim would be to consolidate. On paper, Marconi should win tonight. They would have had their pants kicked, I would think, for their performance last week. And I think it would be a long night for Heidelberg this evening. Still,
a young side like Heidelberg, eager to topple the champion, will make an awkward bit of opposition for Marconi.
Very much so. I would see this as a year, though, for Jimmy Tansey and his young team. It would be a year to consolidate. Their first year back in the big league. I applaud them for going with youth. But youth, in terms of form, is often up and down. And it's not stable enough. But given everything equal, and hopefully we get it right this week, I would think Marconi would be favoured to win.
John, thank you. OK, let's go to our commentator, Mike Hill.
Well, thanks, Les. And there's part of the crowd here at the Marconi Stadium, protected against the elements here tonight, over in the brand new grandstand on the far side. Well, these two teams have been champions in the past, Marconi in 1979 and, of course, last season. They've met totally of 20 times in the National Soccer League since 1977. Marconi winning 11, Heidelberg 4. Their last meeting back in August of 1987, Marconi won then by 5-1 thanks to a hat-trick from Frank Farina. Their last meeting here in Sydney in April 1987, the all-important goal that day, again by Frank Farina. And our referee tonight is Mr. Arthur Owens from Sydney. He's 42 years old and he's a fire officer. And starting this season, his 7th season on the NSL panel. So Marconi get us underway. They're kicking from right to left in the first half. Marconi, the green shirts and the white shorts. Heidelberg, their familiar yellow and black stripes. Real test this for this young Heidelberg side. First season back in the NSL after being relegated at the end of 1987. But the win on Monday night certainly will have done their confidence a lot of good. But a real test today against the defending champions. One of the interested spectators here, Vedran Rosic, coach of Sydney, Croatia, who are not playing tonight. They've got a match tomorrow. Now McCulloch. Tommy McCulloch, who missed last week's match through dislocated ribs. That's a good ball forward there, picking out Jerry Gomez. Getting this one across. Awkward one for the keeper. Misjudged that completely. Heidelberg, though, get away with it. Now Canasulis. Just getting it away from the danger area. Marconi, though, can come forward again. This is Wheatley. Now Steve Calderan. John Paul Marini. Heidelberg again, a funnel back. Everybody back behind the ball. Now Paul Carter. Jerry Gomez finding space on that far side. This time with the high cross, John Paul Marini's forward. Nastevsky quickly closed down. A half chance there for Nastevsky. Good defensive work in the end by the Heidelberg defenders who just crowded him out. But the trouble all started, though, with the cross from Jerry Gomez. And Nastevsky, who scored last week from the penalty spot, couldn't get on the end of the header down from John Paul Marini.
Very well over there, Theodosopoulos.
Theodosopoulos there doing well in a defensive role. He's their striker, but he's been forced back to try to get involved in this game. So much as Marconi dominated. Now Tommy McCulloch. Still McCulloch trying the shot. And finishes up wide. Tommy McCulloch, 21 appearances for Australia at youth international level. 19 at full international level. 135 matches now in the National Soccer League. Scored 23 goals so far in those matches. That time, though, the shot was off target. Now Burgess trying to flick that one on. Stopped by Catholis. Robbie Wheatley played into trouble, in fact, by that ball from Peter Catholis. Free kick for Marconi, quickly taken. McCulloch. Janastevski. Steve Calderon. Again, Marconi trying to switch play. Catholis there, just unable to control that one. He's battled so well tonight in midfield, Peter Catholis, and so's Nastevski, who gets that one out to Jerry Gomez. Gomez with the cross. Now Fred de Jong just trying to nod that one down into the path of David Lowe. Certainly, John, we're seeing the value tonight of Fred de Jong. He's such a good target man for Marconi.
Yes, and they have exploited the right side really well. I don't think Marconi really haven't played badly so far. They've put together some nice moves. They've tried to spread it wide. I think we just have to pay a little bit of credit to Heidelberg. They've defended well, and every time Marconi in with a chance, you see so many black and yellow shirts between the attacker and the goal. But I would think more of the same from Marconi's second half, and more of the same from Heidelberg, but there's going to be a little bit more space. This is where Marconi have got to attack down that right flank. All their good moves so far this evening have come from there. And as you say, to hit de Jong and for de Jong to set up for a strike on goal.
McCulloch, now de Jong. Well, Fred de Jong's been penalised again, this time for making a back. He doesn't agree with that decision. I think I might agree with him, actually. It does seem a bit harsh.
Well, he's been on the wrong end of a few decisions tonight, Freddie. Don't agree with all of them, but certainly in a couple of cases he's been badly done by, for my money.
Have a look at it there. He shields the ball so well. It just seemed there that the defender sort of tripped over Fred de Jong's legs. This is John Paul de Marini. David Lowe trying to get behind the defenders. And Claude Lucchesi there misjudged that, but recovered quickly. Certainly, John, David Lowe much more involved in tonight's game than we saw him last week in Melbourne.
Yes, I think for the whole Marconi team, this ground this evening suits them a lot better, and being its home ground as well. I think they've played reasonably well first half, Marconi. Heidelberg have just made it difficult for them. For me, if I was coaching Marconi, I'd be looking for a little bit more to happen on this left flank, as it's been happening on the right hand. So having said that, full marks to Heidelberg. They've made it very hard for Marconi and restricted them to just that one strike on goal, which in anyone's terms is pretty good defending in 45 minutes.
Lucchesi. Brilliant save that from Bobby Catlin. Theodosopoulos was the player who got under the end of that cross from Claude Lucchesi. But the first time tonight, Claude Lucchesi came forward from his sweeper's role. So Marconi have dominated so much of this first half. Still on level terms, thanks to their keeper.
That's the danger, Mike, when you dominate so much that when the opponent gets a break, you have two free players, as was on there. Two free players at the far post. You can get caught out as you push men forward. And that's something that Marconi really have to be aware of. What a great save from Bobby Catlin.
John Paul de Marini. Janastevski. Faced there by Kanasoulas. Still Nastevski. Still Nastevski. Right in those challenges, but eventually losing out. Now McCulloch. Wide for Gomez. Now Carter. No way forward, had to play it back for Wheatley. Look for McCulloch. Again, Claude Lucchesi read that situation so well. Carter with the throw. Into the final 30 seconds of this first half. Now Robbie Wheatley. Lifting that one forward. Casey again reading the situation so well. Burgess. Now Heidelberg trying to break. And it's a 3-on-1 situation. Theodosopoulos there, cutting inside. And not the best of balls. Phil Stubbins, the number 8, had taken up a good position. He was unmarked. But Marconi there, John, was so exposed.
Well, it's a problem, as we were saying, when you have so much of the ball, you tend to neglect your job when you haven't got it. And that's where Marconi caught out twice now in the past couple of minutes. And it's something that could well cost them the game, and I'm sure Bertie Mariani will be on to at half-time.
Referee Arthur Owens brings the first half to a close. No score in the first 45 minutes. The half-time scoreline, Marconi 0, Heidelberg United 0. So Heidelberg get the second half underway now, kicking from right to left. No changes in either side at half-time. The half-time scoreline, Marconi 0, Heidelberg United 0. So it'll be interesting to see if there's been a change in tactics from either side. Heidelberg, I'm sure, will be very happy to go back to Melbourne tonight with a point. But Marconi, they've only got 3 points from their first 3 matches. Currently down in 9th position. Will certainly be looking for 2 points from this home fixture. Now Stubbins. Olsalkas. Trying to play that one forward. So a throw on that far side now to Marconi. Frank Rock, one of the interested spectators here tonight, spying not only for his club St George, but I think also running the eye over some players with a view of the upcoming internationals. Now David Lowe. Lowe hooking that one inside. McCulloch. Ball wouldn't come down for McCulloch. It does in the end. Just wide there from Tommy McCulloch. Seemed to take an eternity for the ball to come down for Tommy McCulloch. Awkward bouncing ball this. But in the end, able to control it. Now Jerry Gomez. Fred de Jong still onside. Faced there by Olsalkas. Player chasing back was Willie Rains. Claude Lucchese there arguing with the referee. Willie Rains is the player who's finished up on the deck after that challenge from Fred de Jong. But the free kick, in fact, has gone to Marconi. So Willie Rains slowly to his feet. Marconi have got another free kick just outside the penalty area. Steve Calderon's gone forward. So is Jerry Gomez. 2 players so good in the air. Listevski with his free kick. Calderon can't get on the end of it. Fred de Jong. De Jong. 1-0 to Marconi. Fred de Jong the scorer, and the goal coming after 50 minutes. Fred de Jong opens his account for 1989. All came from the free kick from Listevski. Heidelberg were looking for Steve Calderon and Jerry Gomez. Eventually it came to Fred de Jong. But a well-taken free kick this from Listevski. Comes right across the face of goal. Calderon there can't get a touch. Fred de Jong can. Marconi 1, Heidelberg United 0. So that was the goal that Marconi wanted. But Heidelberg will dispute the free kick in the first place. Fred de Jong was the player who was involved in that incident. But it was Fred de Jong who punished them in the end with that all-important goal. Fred de Jong now 4 goals in the National Soccer League. This is 25th appearance.
Can they go on with it?
So now, John, a question, can Marconi go on from here?
Yes, I would think so. They needed that goal desperately. They run the risk of dominating the game and getting caught on the break, as we saw just before half-time. Heidelberg now have got to come out, and I think that would please Marconi immensely, because since Heidelberg have been sitting back, they've been making life very difficult for Marconi. Now they've got to come out, and it's going to give more space for the likes of Gomez and de Jong and Lowe and Listevski to exploit.
Burgess spreading it wide. Stubbins. Stubbins! And Heidelberg have equalised. What's the referee seen? In fact, it's not going to count. In fact, it's gone behind the goal. Well, from where we're sitting, John, that looked as if that was in for all intents and purposes.
Yes, and a little bit of justice. I felt it was a handball before the shot came, and perhaps a little bit of justice. It did look as though it had gone in, but in fact gone over the back. But for my money, should have been a free kick Marconi's way before the shot came.
Steve Douglas was the player who made the run from midfield. Clearly shows there on the replay it went over the bar, but from where we're sitting, it certainly looked as if it finished up in the back of the net. With the danger there of Heidelberg, Marconi very much exposed. Now Carter. Steve Calderon. Now Jean-Paul de Marini. Burgess. Good play that time by Robbie Wheatley, coming forward for the first time tonight, then slipping, recovered quickly, still Robbie Wheatley. Spreading that one wide, looking for Nastevsky. Nastevsky twisting and turning. Good cross, nobody at the far post. Here comes Gomez. Hooked back inside and over the bar, that time by Fred de Jong. Opportunity for his second of the night. It came to him so quickly. But the problems all started when Nastevsky found some space on that far side. Got the ball across. Jerry Gomez is the player coming in at the far post. The ball is loose. Goalkeeper's come in. Fred de Jong gets there first and just hooks it over the keeper, but over the bar. So a sight that we never like to see in soccer. A very sad sight. The 19-year-old goalkeeper. Chetsi Stefanos is the player who is going to go off. And I think Steve Douglas is taking over in goal. So Heidelberg, trailing by a goal, have now lost their goalkeeper. And really now they're up against it. So Steve Douglas, who's 22 years old, started his career at Green Gully. I think his first ever appearance in the National Soccer League as a goalkeeper. McCulloch. Jerry Gomez finding a lot of space. Still Gomez, Young waiting in the box. Now Nastevsky picking up on the loose ball. Now Catholis, they're queuing up for Marconi. Still Peter Catholis. Marconi, plenty of players forward. Catholis lifting this one in. And the header. He's taking the deflection. I think, though, that Tommy McCulloch is going to claim it. But certainly it took a deflection. But they were queuing up for Marconi. The cross came in from Peter Catholis. And Tommy McCulloch, the player coming in at the far post, comes off of Claude Lucchese. Well, John, own goal or for Tommy McCulloch?
Oh, you'd have to give it to Tommy. He started the move, but bad luck for Heidelberg. You had to admire the way they kept in the game, still having a go despite losing the keeper. And it's always unfortunate when a goal is deflected like that. That really is the ball game now. Marconi will be content to wrap it up at this stage, I would think, and it's very difficult, particularly without their keeper. And now Douglas called back into goal to see Heidelberg getting the necessary 2 goals to get something out of this match.
So Tommy McCulloch opens his account for the season. Marconi 2, Heidelberg United 0. So the goal coming after 73 minutes. And really a tall order now for Heidelberg. Peter Catholis, player who set up that goal. Now David Lowe. Still Lowe, using his pace. Nastevsky, closed down quickly. So for Tommy McCulloch, his 24th goal now in the National Soccer League, his first for this season. Now Lucchese. Paul Carter there first for Marconi, and Jerry Gomez picking up the loose ball, just tidying up. Although, John, just 10 minutes to go, one has the feeling that Marconi could even score a couple more in that time.
Yes, it's certainly their intent. They have a negative goal difference going into this game, Mike, and with championship aspirations or top 5 aspirations, goal difference, of course, can mean the difference between winning it or losing it or making the 5 or not. Marconi realised that. Heidelberg really against the ropes now, and now is the opportunity to perhaps, even in the last 10 minutes, to score a couple of goals that would improve that negative goal difference substantially.
Now Carter, McCulloch, David Lowe, Jerry Gomez again taking up a good position. Now McCulloch, David Lowe, Carter with the cross, De Jong at the far post. Doing well, nodding that one down. Nastevsky, 3-0. Zlatko Nastevsky, second goal of the season. Celebrates his 50th appearance in the National Soccer League with a goal that gives Marconi a 3-0 lead. Fred de Jong won that in the air, nodded it down. Nastevsky this time didn't rush, took his time, picked his spot. And Steve Douglas, the substitute goalkeeper, has no chance whatsoever. But Nastevsky, such a good striker of the ball, given half a chance in that position, puts Marconi further ahead. Marconi 3, Heidelberg 0. I watch now, there's just 8 minutes left. So Nastevsky, second goal of the season. Carter comes forward for Marconi. Now Fred de Jong. Still Fred de Jong to the byline, right across the face of goal. Came off Nastevsky and went straight into the goalkeeper's arms. I don't think Nastevsky knew too much about it, but certainly Fred de Jong's enjoying himself out there tonight. Did well here, got it across, hit it hard. It came off Nastevsky. Finished up there in the arms of Steve Douglas. So it's on to McCulloch. Playing that one over the defence. Heidelberg there appealing for the offside, nothing given. This is Catholis lifting that one in. Jerry Gomez coming forward just a bit too high. Gomez plays it back now. Paul Carter. Still Carter. Carter against the bar. Now Fred de Jong. Nastevsky. That one's charged down. At the moment, Heidelberg are on the rack. Now Jerry Gomez lifting that one in. Steve Douglas comes and he takes it so well. Goalkeeper there, Steve Douglas. Saw his woodwork rattle, but took that one so well. So into the final few seconds. Of course, Heidelberg last night went into the transfer market. John Stewart's been signed from Preston. So he'll be a player to come in and add some experience. One can't take anything away from these youngsters of this Heidelberg side. It's a very young side. But unfortunately in the National Soccer League, you don't get too much time to be able to adjust as Colucci gets that one across. Steve Douglas there, touches it away. Now David Lowe, and it's 4. David Lowe, his second goal of the season. The goal coming right in the last minute. And he was denied initially by some good goalkeeping there from Steve Douglas. But the ball ran loose. And David Lowe gets a rather fortunate bounce there. But turns, beats the keeper at the near post. And 89 minutes gone, Marconi increased the lead for David Lowe, his second goal of the season. And a scoreline that now reads Marconi, thanks to that David Lowe goal, 4, Heidelberg United 0. So now Paul Carter. Colucci again trying to get forward. Colucci, the player who was signed last season from Italy, suffered an injury in the grand final. So a throw to Marconi again. Playing it back for McCulloch. Now Colucci. Yard or so of space. Hoisting this one in. Ball loose again. Away there by Canasoulas. Now Colagiuri. Colagiuri gets the return. Still Vince Colagiuri. Marconi with plenty of players forward. Colagiuri tries to get that one across. It comes off the defender. A corner now for Marconi. So Peter Catholis with his corner for Marconi. Trying to curl this one in. Off the head there of Lucchesi as the final whistle goes. Good win for Marconi. They had to wait until the second half to get the goals. They came after 50 minutes from Fred de Jong, after 73 minutes from Tommy McCulloch, in the 82nd minute from Nastevski, and in the 89th minute from David Lowe. Good performance by Marconi, one that will do their confidence a lot of good, but not a trip really that Heidelberg will remember with affection to Sydney. The final scoreline, Marconi 4, Heidelberg United 0. So let's cross now to Les Murray.
Thanks, Mike. Fred de Jong of Marconi is with me. Fred, what went wrong when you went off?
I just got a touch of cramp in the calf, and I don't think Bertie wanted me to pull a muscle or anything, so he took me off.
Well, I don't blame you, because there was a lot of running around out there, and took a long time before you cracked it.
Yeah. We came in at half-time. The boys thought we were playing well. Bertie was happy with us, but as with previous games this year, we've just failed to force the issue later on in the second half. But today it just clicked. We put away 4 goals.
What a lot of people must be asking is whether you're missing Frank Farina up front.
Well, yeah, we are. It's impossible to replace someone who scores 16 goals for 2 years in a row. I think this year we'll be looking to maybe spread the goals around a bit across the forward line, maybe for the midfielders coming through, and hopefully someone will pop up and score 15. And the rest come back with support with about 10 or something.
That must take a bit of getting used to, because you were playing on Frank a lot, weren't you, in the first season last season?
Yeah, I think a lot of the midfielders look to him over the top to burst through, use his pace, get on the end of long balls, and especially in and around the box, he's so sharp. Maybe we've had to alter our style a bit this year, play the ball up, get it back into the midfield, and then maybe look for the break and use a 2-stage manoeuvre instead of one long ball.
Just another topic, Fred. Big surprise that you haven't been called up so far by John Adshead, the New Zealand coach.
Yeah, me and Robbie. Yeah, I think it's good in some ways. I can concentrate on my club football because the New Zealand team will be away for a 5-week break coming up in May. Of course, you always like to play nationally, but if he doesn't call me up, well, maybe I can just concentrate on this stuff.
Okay, well, it'll be good to see you. Thanks very much, Fred. Good luck for the rest of the season.